Buddy, time for my fight picks for fightpicks.com. UFC 236. First off, I want to thank everybody, each and every one of you, for tuning in to my YouTube channel, for subscribing. I got 10,000 subscribers, which is incredibly surprising. My podcast is doing fantastic, and I just really appreciate everybody who's been tuning in and going to fightpicks.com and signing up. Remember, promo code Jimmy Smith, all one word, lowercase or uppercase. That's been doing great as well. So I really appreciate all the support from the fans. You guys have really been great, and it's been keeping me sane these days. Doing Sirius XM, I'm doing the pre-fight and post-fight shows. So I'm going to be working tomorrow night till like 2 in the morning. Dan Hardy and I are doing the post-fight show. So enjoy. It's me and RJ on the pre-fight show, so it's going to be a lot of work, a lot of fun. So here are my picks. Remember, fightpicks.com. It's free to sign up, and you make picks and see how you do. So here are mine officially. Remember, promo code Jimmy Smith, all one word, uppercase or lowercase. Let's get started. Some really interesting fights. I think it's going to be a really entertaining card, personally. OSP versus Nikita Krylov. Both these guys make a lot of mistakes during fights. They do a lot of funky things. They get finished. They get finishes. They take a lot of risks. They have really unorthodox styles. That always makes fights hard to pick. I'm going with OSP by submission early. Krylov tends to make, once again, a lot of ground mistakes. And OSP has proven to be tricky on the ground. He gets submissions when he needs them, through funky ways. I think that happens again. I'm going with OSP submission first round. I think it's going to be wild and it's going to be crazy, but it's going to be short. That's my prediction. Alan Jouban versus Dwight Grant. Dwight Grant from Dana White's Contender Series. A guy coming up, has his ability to finish himself, but Alan Jouban, I tend to go with fighters that have a little bit more experience. And I see right now Alan Jouban having more experience. He's a little craftier. He is able to control range a little better. And those kind of mature attributes help you a lot against someone who's just coming in and hasn't quite found their legs. Remember, Dwight Grant, old for getting his UFC career started. I think he's 34 years old. So I see this Alan Jouban KO third round. I think it's going to take a while. It's going to set him up, control the range, maybe avoid some aggression, and find his spot to get it in the third round. That's my pick. So Alan Jouban, third round, KO, TKO. Eric Anders, Khalil Roundtree. I see this fight going one of two ways, and it's really kind of a coin flip as to which way it goes. Khalil Roundtree, serious knockout power. You know he can finish. Coming off a loss, so he's hungry. He's going to be upset, I think. I called his fight against Johnny Walker when he got knocked out. He's going to come back strong from that. Eric Anders is in a tough spot. One win in his last 4 fights. This was a guy who came in with a lot of hype, undefeated until the Machida fight. He fought a tricky guy at home. Very close fight. Some people thought he won it, but he just had trouble with the versatility. After that, a quick knockout, but then he's kind of hit a skid. 2 losses in a row. Thiago Santos, Elias Theodoro, master of the split decision. He lost by split decision. He needs to get it back on track. How does he get it back on track? I don't think he takes a lot of risks in this fight against a great striker. I think it's about takedown, grind. Keep it safe, keep it simple. Don't take any big risks. Get back on the winning track. Fight safe. So it's either Khalil Roundtree by probably pretty early stoppage, or Eric Anders by decision. I went Eric Anders by decision. Roundtree, great striker, has had trouble with his takedown defense, and I think Eric Anders just goes to that game ad nauseum until he gets the decision. It might not be an exciting fight, simply because Anders needs to play it safe and doesn't want to take any risks and needs to get back in the win column in a division that, you get a few together, get a nice streak going, and you might be a title contender. So Eric Anders plays it safe, might be boring, but he wins a 3-round decision. Kelvin Gastelum, Israel Adesanya. I'm big on Israel Adesanya. I called his first fight in the UFC. I called the Brad Tavares fight. The dude is awesome. I really think Israel Adesanya might be the future at 185. The caveat, he hasn't beaten a top 5 guy yet. Kind of got fast-tracked. The fight between him and Anderson Silva, as a contender fight, that was strange when Dana White said the winner of this fight gets a title shot. You know, Anderson Silva was not on a streak, hadn't done well in his last few fights. Israel Adesanya hasn't fought a top 5 guy yet. A lot of people disappointed in his performance against Anderson Silva. Number one, Anderson Silva's tricky on the feet till the day he dies. He's dangerous on the feet. So I thought Israel Adesanya gave him a lot of respect, first off. Secondly, because it was a title contender fight from the beginning, Dana White had already said that, Israel knew, I don't need a great performance. I don't need a knockout. I just need to win. I think he played it a little safer than he normally does. One, a lot of respect for Anderson Silva. Secondly, he knew he didn't need a knockout. I'm not fighting to impress. I just need to win. So I thought he may have fought a little conservatively for those two reasons. So obviously, great stand-up. I liked his scrambles against Brad Tavares. When he gets taken down, he's good at scrambling and getting back up again. Kelvin Gastelum has fought the better talent in the UFC. He's a short-range striker. He wants to keep it right in your chest and throw big punches. You saw the knockout power against Michael Bisping, against Tim Kennedy. He hits you, he can put you out. But it's generally short range. He's not a great long-range guy, and Israel Adesanya really controls space well. So Kelvin Gastelum is going to try and make this a grinding kind of fight, like he did basically against Uriah Hall, against a versatile striker. Stay in his grill, take him down, grind him out, make this a short-range kind of fight. His fight against Jacare was a little strange because it was defined by Jacare basically running out of gas after the first round. Weird. Jacare was in control in the first round. He got up at the end of the first round and was just staggering. Totally ran out of gas and kind of gave the fight back to Kelvin Gastelum. Now, Kelvin Gastelum stayed consistent. You always got to give a fighter credit for that. He didn't fall apart at the end of the first round. But it was really Jacare just running out of gas and Kelvin Gastelum able to outwork him for the rest of the fight. I'm going with Israel Adesanya. But Kelvin Gastelum has never been knocked out in his MMA career. So my question here is, does he knock him out late, or does he get a win by decision? The way I see it, and when you're picking fights, one of the problems whenever you're picking fights is you tend to pick what you want to see or what would be more entertaining rather than what's more likely to logically happen. This is a guy who's never been knocked out. And I see if Israel Adesanya gets ahead in the first 2-3 rounds, he might start picking them apart and play for the decision. Meaning, keep it safe. Kelvin Gastelum's a knockout puncher close, control the distance, and be content with the decision, which I think will happen in this. So my pick is Israel Adesanya by decision. I wonder how many people are picking that. But I think Israel Adesanya by decision. Max Holloway versus Dustin Poirier. The fact that this is such a tough pick indicates what a great fight it is. So the harder my job is, the better the card is. Max Holloway versus Dustin Poirier, this is a can't-miss fight in terms of excitement. I love both of these fighters. I could talk all day about the skills they bring, but here are the X factors that decide this fight to me. Dustin Poirier's advantage when it comes to Max Holloway is he's naturally a bigger guy. He's had more time to fill out at 155. I think he's the harder puncher at 55. He's just a bit bigger. I think Max Holloway, both guys have fought at 45. Max Holloway's naturally a little bit smaller. The X factor advantage for Max Holloway is the guy has juice. And what I mean by that is momentum. His fight against Brian Ortega, as far as a confidence builder. Not that he didn't have confidence before, but one of the best performances I've ever seen at 145 pounds. I thought Brian Ortega would really put up a tough fight, if not win that fight. And Max Holloway owned him. Absolutely owned him from start to finish. So that's one of those fights where he looked like the best fighter in the world that night. And he's coming off that fight. Now, Dustin Poirier on a streak of his own. Wins over Justin Gaethje. Of course, Eddie Alvarez. The guy's a fantastic fighter. So this is two great fighters in their prime. Will it be, I think, the power advantage of Dustin Poirier and the size advantage versus the volume of Max Holloway and the versatility of Max Holloway? So to me, it's volume, versatility, and gas, because Max Holloway just keeps it on you the whole time, versus kind of the size and strength and power of Dustin Poirier. Which advantage comes into play here? I think going up to 55, the already iron chin of Max Holloway will be even tougher. And Dustin Poirier will land some big shots, just like Ortega did, but it won't be enough for the volume of Max Holloway. I think it's going to look like a Max Holloway fight, which looks like a Diaz fight, which is you might land a couple big shots, but he just wears you down. Tough pick. Max Holloway, KO, 5th round. Wears him down, wears him out, finally gets the big shot. Max Holloway by KO, 5th round, and fellas, ladies and gentlemen, I went back and forth on this one. Very tough pick, but that's what I'm sticking with. So to recap, I have OSP by 1st round submission. I have Alan Jouban, 3rd round TKO, KO. I have Eric Anders by decision over Khalil Roundtree. Israel Adesanya by decision over Kelvin Gastelum. And Max Holloway, late finish, 5th round, KO over Dustin Poirier. Those are my picks. Once again, go to fightpicks.com. Sign up, Jimmy Smith, all one word, uppercase or lowercase, and see how you do. It's free and it's a lot of fun. And more than anything, this is going to be a fantastic card. Check me out, Sirius XM, pre-fight and post-fight show. It's going to be a long night for me, but it's going to be fun. Really appreciate all the fans. You guys have been great. Thank you.